What's happening, everybody? It is Saturday, and that's right. It's time once again for What's on the Pegs. It's always cool to dive into my weekly toy hunts and all the different stores that I hit up. And as always, I try to find new stores when I can. I don't travel a whole lot these days, but every now and then I will get a wild hair and decide, you know what, I'm going to go check out a store. And I was up in the Springfield, Missouri area and checked out a store called Toys R Us, formerly known as Peddler's Post. If you're ever in the area, it's in actually a town called Bolivar, Missouri. Lots of great stuff there. I highly recommend checking it out. And a lot of cool stuff I found, indeed. My good friend Daniel Cross lives relatively close to the area, so I was going to see if he could hit me up. Unfortunately, he was in Iowa that day, so hopefully he hit up Jay's Toys and Games. That's out in Iowa, so I don't know if he checked any of those out or not, but I first ran into this. I thought this was a really cool find. You don't see these a lot. I mean, I posted this the other day, but I haven't seen this particular figure. It is Ann O'Brien from the legendary comic book heroes, the Monkey Man series. They only did 2 waves of these, so not a ton of these out there anymore that I've seen. Seeing that whole wave at that one store was pretty wild, but seeing another one out in the wild is pretty cool. And then a Bruce to Ninja Batman figure, which is kind of random from the Dark Knight. I know back in that era, they always made movie figures, which were an easy pass for me, but it is always kind of fun to see one out in the wild. But the legendary comic book heroes line is always going to be a favorite of mine. I would like to collect these at some point. They are a little bit on the pricey side, but hopefully one day I'll be able to snag a few of them. We shall see what happens. And I also want to get a picture of these. These were Marvel Legends. Some of them were called Marvel Universe, but they were basically 3 3/4 inch figures. They were highly articulated. So they had usually a lot of them had the chest articulation, knee, elbow, shoulder, everything, and they were really, really fun. These became very popular right before Marvel Legends was relaunched by Hasbro. This is like probably 2007, 2008. I remember seeing these at Target all the time, and always thinking like, these are fantastic. I want more of these, and it was pretty wild to see them. Out here again, you don't see them a ton anymore. Sometimes they are a little bit expensive, but as you can see, this 2-pack, $13. Unknown characters, so that could be why, but it's still kind of cool to see them. I do have a few of these. I've since kind of stopped collecting, but who knows? Maybe I'll get a wild hair and dive back into them again. I guess time will tell. Man, look at these Toy Biz Marvel Legends. I had to get a picture of these. So many cool ones from Captain America. I actually just recently unboxed that, and if you look, that one's $22. I paid $40 for mine, so that's a little... that kind of makes you sick. But you got the Thing up there. I almost picked up the Thing, but I decided against it. I'm going to slowly collect these, I've decided. We got Ultron, the Hulk. I believe that is Scarlet Witch right there. Elektra, several versions of Elektra. Captain Britain, who I believe I have him as well over there. But I've always loved this line. I love how cool these look. I love the packed-in comic book. Toy Biz was really doing good work back in the day. These are always a lot of fun to see. So if you see any Toy Biz Marvel Legends out and about, hit me up. Let me know. It's always interesting to see Masters of the WWE Universe, because for a while these were pretty much all the rage, right? And they, like, as soon as they got around, they kind of disappeared, and then He-Man took back over. But this is a wild time for sure. These were such a unique line. A lot of people didn't like them. I still think because retros kind of seemingly went on ice there for a year or two, and then these hit, everyone blamed this for the demise of retros. But of course, retros have come back since, and we've seen even more retro companies since then. So ultimately it was a good thing, but it was a wild time to see these. They did come with a little comic book. It was only like a 1-page comic, but still pretty cool. I did end up dipping out of this line before it ended, but I always thought it was fun. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll go back and start picking some of these up, because they're not super expensive these days. The Simpsons. I love the Simpsons, of course. I actually just unboxed Mo from the new Jax line just the other day, as a matter of fact. You can find that in the archives. But this is, of course, the Playmates Mo. He doesn't have a price tag on him, so it may be on there. I just don't remember. But I love the Simpsons Playmates line. I thought these were so, so good. I love that Jax is doing them now. As you can see, similar accessories. He's got his phone, his bar towel, and actually a Duff beer, a draft Duff beer, as a matter of fact. Mo was just such a fun character, and my only hope for the Jax line is that they get as many figures as Playmates had back in the day, because Playmates did waves of 6, and I think they did like 16 waves plus some celebrity waves plus the play sets. So we got a lot of Simpsons figures from Playmates back in the day. So, and we also see Luann Platter. Is that her name? Luann Van Houten. Who's Luann Platter? I think that's from King of the Hill. Luann Van Houten down below. So, like I said, love the Simpsons line. Would love to see more from Jakks. Still hoping to see Wave 5 sometime down the road. We'll see. These are not the easiest ones to find. And then I had to get a picture of these. We just talked about these on TB Toycast not long ago, and I mentioned that I saw these. It is the Cerazoic Warriors. We got the Triax Skyver, Mar-Osis, and Ceratopsian Guard. $40 takes these home. You can get these for about $29.99 online plus shipping, of course. So not horrible. Like, I guess this would save you shipping, I guess, and shipping would probably be about that. So it's probably close to a wash. And I didn't even realize I got a picture of a Battlefield Earth figure. That crazy John Travolta movie. I had no idea I even got that picture, but kind of makes me want to, get Battlefield Earth figures now, Would be so much fun. The Goon. A lot of other random figures there, but the Goon. That's the main picture I was going to take a picture. That's the main figure I was wanting to get a picture of. I love that this happened from the Elite line. It was such a weird moment in time, and the fact that they were able to make this happen, I thought was just awesome. I can't imagine the Goons under a deal anymore. I don't know, but man, the fact that we got this in the Elite line, and it's a home run figure, no pun intended. Maybe a goal figure. Is that the right word, since he played hockey? But the gloves, the ice skate boots, the jersey, everything about this guy was just really, really cool. So, always a big fan of the Goon, and proudly in my Elite collection to this day. If it hadn't been, I would have picked it up on this trip. You can guarantee that. Nightwing. Always cool to see some DC Universe Classics figures. Again, these were from Mattel, so I kind of wonder if Mattel will go back to this when they take the license over next year. I would personally like to see them do something different. I guess time will tell on that. These were fun for the time, but I feel like they're a little bit dated based upon the time that they were out. If you compare these to Marvel Legends Toy Biz, they're kind of in that same realm. For me, I would personally like to see them kind of go in the route of Masterverse, but we'll see what happens. Like those real big figures, which I think would fare somewhat nicely to the McFarlane line, without being exact, but I guess we'll see what happens. It sucks that McFarlane did lose the license, but I think that's just kind of the toy business, right? You have it for a while, and then it goes away, and someone else is going to make it, so it is what it is. But these, I always liked the DC Universe Classics. These were a lot of fun. I remember the very first time I saw them, I was on a road trip, and I was at a Kmart, and I picked up the entire first wave because I thought they were so cool. So I was like, oh man, I got to get these. I since have recollected a bunch of them, but I probably won't keep them. As fun as they are, I feel like it's like a moment in time, and it's time to move on and stick with something new and fresh, I guess. The Flash from the Total Justice line. I did pick this up because I needed it. It was only $12. That was a good deal, and I needed it for my Total Justice collection because I've been unboxing a couple of those already. I've done Batman and Aquaman, and as you can see, that Aquaman there in the JLA carding is pretty similar to the Aquaman I unboxed. This Flash, of course, has got his armor and everything else. Very Total Justice-esque. The packaging has been a little beat up, but it was still kind of cool to get it. So I saw it out in the wild, had to grab it. Couldn't pass it up. And I love getting a picture of just something random where it's like, whoa, I didn't even know about that. Planet of the Apes figures. This is Limbo. I believe this is like the 2001 Planet of the Apes with Mark Wahlberg. Never saw the movie. I heard it wasn't super well received. I know in like 2011 they did Rise of the Planet of the Apes with James Franco, and that was a lot more like a prequel, which I always thought was pretty fun and kind of how they all got intelligent. But again, wild times. Back in the day, everything had a toy line. And there you go, Limbo from Planet of the Apes. If you were missing that one, check out Toys R Us. This is another interesting one, a Pirates of the Caribbean sword-slashing Captain Jack Sparrow. I don't even know who makes these. I can't see anything about them, but this figure looks really good. That was kind of what got me. I was like, oh, that looks like a good figure. And I've never had Pirates of the Caribbean figures. Don't plan to start now, but it looked cool, and I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's get a picture of it. It'll be good for the channel. So sometimes it's just about finding something different and unique, and that's kind of what this figure represents from Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. I did see that in theaters back in the day, too. Always a lot of fun. This is another fun one. Claire Bennett from Heroes. Fire Rescue Claire Bennett. A Toys R Us exclusive. $15, I believe these were available from Mesco. I remember they did, I think they did 2 waves of these. Maybe just one, but they had another wave planned, and I really wanted to get all of them because I loved Heroes back in the day. It was such a fun show. Almost kind of like a modern style comic book based in real time. Could have been a huge hit. To me, it simply started to die after season 2. It was okay, but it didn't have that same intrigue as season 1. Just that unfortunately that happens sometimes. And this was kind of a fun one to get a picture of. Inferno from G.I. Joe Extreme. Of course, these came out from Kenner, and of course part of Hasbro, but they kind of rebranded and tried to do something totally different, change the scale. I remember getting a 2-pack of these for my birthday one year. And the kid that got it for me was like, "These are so cool." And I was like, "Awesome." But wasn't really into them too much. But I always thought they were fun. They were just totally different. And like anything else, I don't think anyone was ready for the rebrand. If we'd gotten this scale with the figures, with the characters we knew, that might have worked. But this, unfortunately, it just didn't happen. But sometimes that happens. Still cool to see out in the wild, for sure. These are always cool. These came out from Funko, the Savage World line. Horror movies. They did these 3, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, and Pinhead. We also got Leatherface and Michael Myers in this line, where they were kind of like slightly different takes, almost like Gladiator style, like He-Man almost, of these great characters. As you can see, 10 or 12 bucks on these loose, not a bad deal. And I think even mint on card, you could probably get these relatively cheap. I thought this was fun. They did a line of Street Fighter. They did a line of Mortal Kombat. They did some type of, my goodness, what was it? It was something DC based with Batman and the Joker, where they were kind of barbarian style, which was cool. But ultimately, they just didn't totally work out. But it was a fun concept for sure. And I had to get a picture of these just because it was like, interesting. And it's Fortnite figures. We don't see these anymore now. These both came out from Jazzwares, which, as we know, has done pretty well for themselves with Squishmallows and stuff. Not necessarily AEW, but some other things. But a lot of people had the Fortnite line. Fortnite eventually went over to Hasbro. And Havoc here is a pretty cool-looking character. As you can see, the more modern scale figures, lots of cool accessories, multiple heads, really cool-looking figure. But I really like the 3 3/4 inch figures here over on the right side. Both of these are really cool, but I think it's just one of those things where a lot of people played Fortnite. They didn't necessarily always buy the toys, and I think that's kind of what we ran into here. But that's pretty much what I saw at Toys R Us. Lots of cool stuff there, and as always, I'm always hitting up a ton of different stores. So if you are out and about, you see something cool, please let me know, because I'm always on the hunt. I'm always looking for new stuff. And, of course, Daniel Cross is always going to send me stuff. And this week he sent me this one. This is a fun one. It was the World Championship Wrestling Series 3 Macho Man Randy Savage. This is the OSFTM kind of LJN style line. These came out in about 95, 96. And I remember really wanting to like these. They just didn't hit for me. And it's crazy now because LJN is making a return. The big rubber guys are doing just unbelievable business. You got companies like Latuni who are doing their own version of LJN. But this just didn't work in the time. And again, these were a little smaller, a little harder plastic. They didn't really have that LJN feel. So, again, timing is everything. These were fun for sure, but to me they weren't the best representation. But anyway, that's what I've been finding on my toy hunts. But what have you guys found? Drop it in the comments down below, or hit me up at TB Toycast on Instagram. That's probably the best way to hit me up. And send me pictures. Let me know what you're finding. I will throw it in future videos. And of course, check out my unboxing videos. I have 3 unboxing videos every single week. I had a lot of cool ones this week, as a matter of fact. On on Monday, what did I unbox? I unboxed something cool, if I can remember. Oh, that's right. I unboxed the Coco Beware Hastel Toy Retro figure from Grapplers and Gimmicks. Really, really fun. On Wednesday, I unboxed 2 figures, as a matter of fact. Itchy and Scratchy from The Simpsons. And they're kind of the 2.5-inch line, but they work great with the 5-inch regular figures. And then I also unboxed from Major and the Big Rubber Guys line, All Ego Ethan Page. Super impressed with that figure. Really like it a lot. So, all of those unboxed this week here on the channel. And, of course, I also dropped a new episode of Tales of the Toy Box, all about Toy Biz X-Men. So check that out as well. But this is all I got. Thank you guys for checking out What's on the Pigs. Make sure to check out the TV Toycast podcast. And we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot. Randy Savage, I'm the queen.